My last craft haul video was fun, so I thought, gonna do another. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I've got another craft haul video, although there's not a ton of things in the haul, but all of it I'm going to use for one card project today. And as I have these new products, I'll work them into future videos and let you know what I think about them. But today I'm gonna show you what I bought and what I made. That video is coming up next. Here's a look at my recent crafty haul. Now everything here that you see did come from a recent Simon Says stamp order. So we'll start out with a refill of my Easy C Essentials, or what is this called? Crafter's Essential Easy C tape. I just take the backer off and replace the tape in this little dispenser. And then I ordered this stamp set from Pink and Main. I first worked with a cute Pink and Main set for Stamptember. And I'll be sure to link that video, even though it's not, the stamp set wasn't exclusive. And when I saw they had more marshmallow people, this is kind of in my coloring wheelhouse. Like, marshmallows don't have a lot of color, and I think this set is just so cheeky and so cute. We've got fall themes, we've got winter themes, we've just got cute, s'more friendly themes. And I also picked up the coordinating dies so that I can cut out all the pieces. So there's that. After doing my Gamsol video, I had so much good feedback, and I have no idea why that video is getting so many views, but I will pop a card up here as well if you want to check that out. And many people said, Cathy, you gotta check out the Prismacolor Premier pencils. So I decided to get a box of 48. Now I have colored pencils that are the Faber-Castell, but I was told that these are waxier, they work better with Gamsol, and so I am going to be opening this box today for the first time. Speaking of Gamsol, now this was from that video. I also was told to order something that hasn't arrived yet, and it's an alternative to Gamsol, and that's coming. And when it does arrive, I'll be sure to test that out in a video as well. It's a product called Zest It, I believe. It's a safer alternative. But here's what I did. I bought this empty Copic sketch marker, and the reason I put some tape on it is so that I don't forget, and well, I'll store it in a different place. This has Gamsol in it. So I filled it with Gamsol. And I have my brush tip, right? And I have replaced the nib here so that it's going to be able to be used instead of a blending stump. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it out today. And the final thing that was in my order was this Wow Dual Heat Tool. Now, why did I buy a new heat embossing tool when I already have one? Well, I will show you this. Has been cracked, okay? So it has a little crack on it, and I'm kind of worried about it falling apart. Also, I love my Wagner heat tool, but this tool, I don't think they're making it like this anymore. They make a different tool that is shaped differently, and so I like to show things that if you want to try what I'm using, you can get that. So I decided to try this out. It has two speeds for, or two heat settings, which I think could be very nice. And we'll give it a try and see. And I'll definitely give my honest review of this tool. So that's my haul. You know, it's not, I never get a ton of stuff at once. But of course, today I am going to use all of these things to make a card project. And so let's get started with some stamping. I will be using my Gina K Designs black ink for the stamping of this, for using the Gamsol that is inside this pen. All right, let's begin. So what I need to do is figure out which little friend I'm going to use. And I think because these all have the little s'mores on them, I'm gonna do this friend here. So, because I think that would be very cute on a card, I'm gonna put this here because I am going to stamp two just in case. Because, you know, I make mistakes. And this will only be the second time I've used the Gamsol. So let's get this ready here. Put that there. Make sure that's down. I'm just going to run my hand over this a little bit. I'm going to be using the Gina K Designs Black Onyx. This is a nice ink for Gamsol. And I may have to ink this up a couple times and stamp it a couple times just because it's a new stamp. And sometimes they do take a few stampings to get nicely conditioned, but we'll bring this down I'm going to grab my stamp press tool and add pressure to transfer the ink. Let's see how that looks. Oh my, that's not bad at all. I did really well. I'm always so surprised, but I shouldn't be, because this tool makes all the difference in the world. I remember when I first started making cards back in 2017, it was the original Misty that I had at the time that showed me I could actually stamp images that looked fantastic, and it's what got me hooked. So if you are new to card making and you're thinking, I want to be serious about stamping and having all this, crafty fun, this tool, while expensive, is completely worth it. Now, I hope I didn't get too close there. Let's see. I hope I have clearance for the die, but I'm only really focusing on one. I think that's okay. Let's do a second one. Years ago, I said, get a frickin' Misty. And I still stand by that. I still stand by that. And also, if you have wrist issues, having a pressure tool of some type, this is called a Debbie tool. It's just very helpful for transferring your images. So that looks great. And I'll just give my stamp a quick wipe down, although my chamois is a little dry here, but that's all I do just to get this off, and I'll put it back onto the sheet. And now we'll move on to coloring. All right, let's open up this little box. Oh, I guess I should have looked at the colors that were in here. I'm hoping that I have something similar to gray, and I feel like that color is going to be fine. I'm just gonna, I don't mind hurting my tin because I just got to get this open. And we'll take these off and open them up. Here we go. Oh, they come in a couple trays. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Now that is really pretty. And I do have a Prismacolor pencil sharpener when I need to sharpen, and I think I'll probably be fine, but these are the colors that are in my new set, and I think I wanted to use something. Well, let's see. If we're going to have a s'more, I guess we're going to have something a little brown. So let's pick out this friend. This one is Ochre Brulee. That might be nice. Okay. And I'm going to pick out a little pink for their cheeks. Again, what is this? That's a really Rose Farday. I'll set that out. I'm not familiar with what I'm doing here, so hopefully this will work. And then I'm just going to take this little sort of, well, let's see, if that would be the marshmallow coming down on the head. So I don't want to do more than I should, but I might grab this pencil, which is called Gingember, because that might be nice enough for a little shadowing. I don't see a true gray in here, which is what I like to do, but I'm going to start here because, again, I wanted to have more of a selection of colors. Now I do. So I'm going to pop this tray back in, and I'll probably just keep this as the storage because I have a really cute little thing for my watercolor pencils, and someday maybe I'll get another one, but for now, we'll keep them in the tray. All right, let's color. I'm going to start here with this pencil, and I'm just going to add a little color to the sides like this, okay? Because I don't want this to have too much color, and I'm going to be using that Gamsol to kind of draw it out, okay? So just a little there. Like that. Okay. I think that would be nice. And here's the thing. I know there's a lot more you can do on shadowing and understanding where light is, but what I hope to remind you is that I am not an expert in coloring, and you don't have to be an expert in coloring to color something simply, right? And that's my goal. It's not to try to, write a creative check that my body can't cash. I'm not about that. at all. I want to have just some fun, right? Just a little fun. And I think I probably should color in here too, into the cracker edge, okay? So that's all I'm doing. It's very simple, but I think the thing I'm most curious about is how is this pen that I purchased going to be working with the Gamsol in. So we're about to find out. Again, I have the brush tip on this side, and you can see there, well, yeah, it gets a little darker there. There is liquid here. So this is, however, the nib, the fine point nib. I pulled out the chisel with tweezers and I popped in a nib that I bought. I think they come in a 3-pack. And let's see if this works. Here goes nothing. All right, we're just gonna, oh, look at that. We're coloring over the pencil like that. And actually, this might be a good time to bring out the full brush. No, you know what? I actually like the feel of the nib, because it feels a lot like a stump, you know? And so here we can just keep bringing this out. And that's pretty blendy. I probably can add a little more too. So here's what I'll do. I'll come back to this in a second as soon as I know it's dry. Just kind of color around here like that. Maybe add a little more in here. Okay, I'll do this one here at the bottom. This works pretty well. Now, of course, I have that on the nib. So that's one thing I don't 100% know is how do I clear it out, because I can't really file it, right? But maybe I can just run it out on the paper. And this paper, by the way, is just Neenah Solar White Classic Crest in the 110-pound weight. It's nothing fancy. It's not any kind of watercolor paper or anything. It's just cardstock, right? It's just cardstock. But that's actually going over really nicely. And there's not a lot of Gamsol coming out here, so I'm not too worried about fumes. It is odorless, right? But again, a few of you have told me you don't want to be breathing this stuff in. So I am going to add more color with my pencil like that because it needs to come over more. And let's go. It does feel like you can just keep kind of going over it. Like it's not going to harm anything, right? I can layer in more color. That was another tip I was given. And if I do want to kind of brush this out a little more, I can. And unlike the colorless blender and a Copic marker, which erases color, right? This just keeps sending it out. That has a nice feel to it, doesn't it? Kind of like it. All right, I do. We're doing it. We're making it work. Okay. Now, what will happen when I get more adventurous with coloring? I don't know. You know, I'm not much of a blender with Copics. I mean, I like to keep it very, very simple, but this is cute and this is working. So, thank you to whoever gave me this tip. No pun intended. But here's what I wonder. What if I just kind of go like that and kind of push the color out? Will that change it on the tip? It might. It's still showing a little, but I feel like that can do it. Look at that. It's coming out more clear. So maybe that's all you have to do. And I filled this just using a like a pipette, one of these friends. I just dipped this into the Gamsol, took the tip off, and squeezed in with a little pipette, which worked really well. Okay, let's close this now. set this pencil aside, and let's go ahead and just give these little friends a cute little cheek. Okay, and I'll just color in half of it like that. See, the thing about colored pencils, I think it's easier to place the color and know where it's going to go. And I like that, you know? All right, let's just come in here. There's not much of a blend happening there because it's a tiny little area, but now if the marshmallow cream is coming down, let's see if this color will work. I mean, that is kind of like as close to gray as I'm going to get. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to just add a little. At the top of each little layer, just for some dimension. If I had well, no, I think this will be fine. Because you know how sometimes your s'more gets a little, well, there should be chocolate up there too, shouldn't there? Wouldn't that be like where the chocolate's coming down? Maybe that would be the chocolate over the marshmallow. Ooh, should that be darker brown? You know what? It might be. And that's perfect. Here's what I'll do. What about brun foncé? Because this is I think this is chocolate. Okay. How's that? Yeah. Now we'll bring you down because that's the melting chocolate. We think. Oh, so cute. Gosh, I love s'mores. Do you like s'mores? I do. I think they're very good. Probably some of you are thinking, Cathy, there's chocolate in a s'more, and the chocolate is going before the marshmallow gets smushed. All right. It's also nice to have an option of colors to pick, right? That's a 48 color set, and that's not bad. Okay, so here I'm going to color some of this out again. And I think I will add a little bit of the gingembre. Are these supposed to be French? Just over here on the side. Just over here, like that. Just for a little shadowing. Ideally, I would use a gray here, but I think this will be fine. I think that's fine. It actually comes across kind of yellow, but I think that's okay. Yep. Just for a little shadowing. Not bad. Now, I feel like probably after every coloring, if I'm going to keep using this approach, which this is pretty cool, I should probably make sure I wipe it down quite well. Let me grab the coordinating die for this. This is nice. These pink dies are, oh, look at that. And they even come with the outline if you want to keep them on here. But what's nice is they are detabbed and they're pink. Oh, that's very cute. So here's where, again, this is where this tape, which I really do love this Easy C tape. It does hold things and it almost never tears my paper. Now, has it torn it a few times? Yeah, on occasion. But it is really easy on your cardstock. And I'm just a fan. I'm a fan. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out and see what it looks like. Before I cut this, I wanted to explain this plate sandwich. I have had questions about it, and I learned about this from Jennifer McGuire, and I will link her video in the description box, wherever it shows up. But I use 2 Gemini green plates. They are double-sided cutting plates, and I tape each one to one clear plate. I always cut into, so the blades are always going to go in here, and I always kind of move it around, right? And then I keep one of the same sandwich setup, or the same plate setup, to be always clean. Then once this gets super cut, I flip that plate, retape it down, and then once that's done, my old becomes my new base, and I just keep recycling the process. But this has been a really great sandwich for me. It keeps things, it keeps my plate staying nice and straight. All right, let's die cut. Okay. Got a little cable there. All right, let's take a look at how cute our little friend is, and that's very cute. Now, I actually didn't do a great job cutting him out at all. Oh no! Shoot, Cathy. You know what? That's gonna be okay. I guess I could do the other one. See, that's why I like a backup. I probably should have done a template on this. I'm thinking about it. But you know what? I think we're going to proceed. Just know that you could have done a template, which is that wonderful thing Gina K does where she places a piece of cardstock outline and then drops it in. And because this is my first time with this type of die, maybe that would have behooved me. But you know what? We're going to keep going. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim a little of this excess off here at the bottom. So that it seems less egregious, if that makes sense. I love these big scissors for something like that. That kind of balances it out a little bit more. I think that's going to be great. Okay, now we'll move on. In fact, I'm going to show you the template method with my little greeting because I think the life is more fun with you is going to be so cute for this card. So I'm going to set this aside and we'll get set up again to stamp. Now, I'm going to go ahead, pick it up. Do a little prep, right? I'll get my anti-static powder, which just removes static and oil from the cardstock so that my embossing powder only sticks where I put my embossing ink. And I'll be using Versamark. I think stamping this once is going to be all I need if I have to do it again. Oh, look at that pad. This is my old pad. Hold on a second. Ooh, clean pad. Okay, I don't think I transferred any mucky muck, but I meant to not use that pad. I wonder how it got in here. Well, we may never know, but we will transfer our ink. Add pressure, right, with the pressure tool. Like that. Let that ink transfer. All right, let me grab my paper catch. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up. And I'm just going to leave my stamp in here. Oh, there's some of my hair. Lovely. Just in case I have to stamp it again. Bring in my little paper catch. And the powder I'm going to use is Ultrafine Antique Gold. It's a very warm, very pretty gold powder. Let's let that sit there for a second. And we'll see how that transferred. Oh, that's going to be very, very cute. In fact, that doesn't need a lot of cleanup, but we'll see. All right, let's funnel this back in. And I'll grab my little Swiffer here. I always try to remember to wipe off the powder that's on my paper catch, just so it doesn't transfer to the next project. And again, I always wipe away my work surface. It's a little easier now that I have a white surface to see, but I don't want to emboss onto any powder onto the mat. I don't see a lot of extra powder here, so I just take one of my little angled shader brushes and brush away. Now I'm going to use my new heat tool, which I know it's going to smell funny. There's no smell-o-vision here, so you're probably lucky. But I guess for this, because there's the, well, I would guess, is it number 2 that is the higher heat? I could look at my instructions. Let's see. Okay, I is for power on. O. Which one is going to, the high speed? Well, I'm assuming that it's going to be 2, so we'll turn this on. And I did put on the little, there's a little stand for it, which, oh, and there's smoke coming out of it. I think because it's the first time I'm using it. Brand new tool, but that looks great. I mean, that doesn't look any different from any other embossing that I've done. So let me make a template for this. I have not done this in a while, but you take your die, your coordinating die, and you cut out a little template. Now, I will do it sometimes in just a light copy paper because it's a little easier to work with. And then technically all we have to do, oh, I don't think it goes that way. I think it goes this way, is frame out the greeting, right? Like that. Let me get in a little closer. You want to be able to make sure that you see exactly how it is supposed to look. That looks pretty good, right? Hold it in place, get your tape, right? Hold that there. I should have done this with the other. I think I was just getting cocky with my cutting ability, but then make sure you hold everything down perfectly in place. Now, there could be a little warping. Don't worry about that, right? You're gonna just make sure that's all here. And then you take your die and drop it into the opening, and it'll take a minute, but once it gets in, oh, is that the right way? Yeah, you can feel it. It's like it locks into the opening that you already cut. That way, you're going to take the guesswork out of trimming your piece. Then all we do, angle it, pop it back on, and I'll go ahead and cut this out. Okay, let's see how well this popped out. Hopefully it looks great. Oh, that's very nice. Look at that. So now life is more fun with you. I did a nice job cutting out the greeting. Oh, that is so cute. All right, now I got to figure out how I'm going to create the rest of the card. I'm going to go ahead and just add some dimension to this before I even figure out the rest of the project. I'm going to take my deeper loft foam squares, just pop that there, and actually I might just cut, oh, I have one cut in half. I cut them in half right onto my sheet so that I can put one there and one there. Okay, so that will have a nice little bit of dimension and cast that pretty shadow. And I'll do the same thing on the back here with these bigger squares. You know what? I'm going to cut one of these in half. All right, there we go. Okay, so now we have our little dimensional friends, okay? And that is very sweet. All right, let me grab some cardstock because I have an idea for finishing out this card. I cut a panel of brown cardstock. This is Warm Cocoa from Gina K Designs, and I thought this would be a very cute little base for this card. And I don't think, well, I might make it a little smaller. Do I want it to be 3.5 by 4.25? I think I do. Let me cut this a little smaller. Okay, actually 3.5 by 4.75. And I think I'm gonna add a little bit of texture just with scoring. So I'm going to just add score lines every, oops, I just slid right off. Come on, Cathy. Every 1/4 inch. And I'm not great at this, so I hope it works. I'm pressing into the corner. Just to add some texture. Oh, I just slid right off. That's okay. I'm not great at it, but it's a fun way to just add a little more interest. Oh yeah, you can see my little slide offs there. That's okay. Oh gosh, I think my score tool is not as pointy as it used to be. Does that make sense? You can, there it goes again. You can buy replacements for these. This is my replacement, and look at how kind of flat and nubby it gets. Well, there you go. In fact, I wonder what would happen if I just did this side. No, we'll just keep doing this. I need to get a replacement. Either way, I now have some score lines in this piece. And I can also go on this side and repeat. So that way I'm going to have options for both sides. You can do, let's see here, you can do a deboss or an emboss, but if you do both sides, it kind of emphasizes the design. And I'm trying to be a little more careful here with my stain in the groove. That might be a little more than I'm used to doing. Okay, now I'll show you, zoom in here. We have this nice texture, right? It's just sort of a panel that has a little more to it. All right, now we have to figure out the card. I'm not sure if I should do this on craft or white. And you know what? My gut just tells me white. I love craft cardstock, but I like this repetition that picks up some of that white. It's a way to really emphasize the color in the project. So let me get this prepped and I'll set this piece aside. And I also need to grab some foam tape for the back of this. So come in here, and this time we'll try to score without messing it up. So this is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. Like that. And that will be great. All right. Give that a press with my Teflon bone folder. And I will be using, see how this pops open because it's just such heavy cardstock? That again is where I'll use a little piece of my Easy See tape, knowing that it won't tear. Pop it on the inside and press. I like to have my card bases flat. I know I have magnets for this workspace, but what I want to be able to do is fully see and commit to that placement. So that's why I like to tape them closed. Let me add some foam tape to the back of this brown panel. I put some foam tape from Ulta on the back of this panel. 3 pieces is fine because I didn't do anything heroic on here. It's going to stand up very nicely. And then all we're going to do is frame out the margins like that. So now I have this nice, well, I'm a little off. God, this is just one of those days when I try to do this when I'm sitting down, but you know what? What I want you to take away is it is a handmade card. It does not have to be perfect every time. So there are things you can do, you know, to up your chances that it will be. What I'm going to do here is take the backers off. I am going to use my ruler for this. All right, take this from the top like that. Get my liquid glue, and this is from Gina K Designs, and this is just going to give me a little bit of playtime to get this perfectly positioned, okay? And actually, let me unstick there. Okay, now I know roughly where I want this to be, so I'm going to bring in my T-square ruler like that. I'm actually going to just slide this out. Get out of there. Okay, like that. And we're going to put that up a little bit. I think this is going to be in the right position. Yeah, I think so. And actually come down a little bit. Then all I have to do is center it, butt it up against the ruler, drop it down, and use that ruler to help my placement, and then just tap it into place. And that liquid glue gives you just ever so slightly a little bit of time to move. I think I will add some sequins to this because of the little bit of gold on the embossing. But you know what would have also been cute? It would have been cute to splatter on some gold paint. I thought about that. I like to keep my projects to what was in my haul. The only thing that wasn't in my haul here, of course, was that brown cardstock. But most people have a little brown cardstock sitting around. So hopefully you do. Life is more fun with you. Oh, so cute. That is really cute. All right, I'm going to grab, let's see here. I have some confetti style sequins from This Calls for Confetti. I will open this up, dump some in, and we'll get to placing these down. I think that's cute. All right, let's just do it. When you start to overthink, you are going to think yourself right out of right out of the placement of the sequin. And this will be fine. This is going to be very cute. Okay, so commence the sequin adherence. Oh, shoot. That was a little boop. Boop. Kind of behind the boop here, all right? Boop. Little boop. Got a little much on the top one. It'll be fine. Boop. Little tuck. Boop. And boop. And that is my finished card project. So that's kind of fun, right? I've got a little texture in there, a little pattern in the background. I've got my simple coloring, which, you know, again, I am learning with the Gamsol. I am learning with the colored pencils. But just for a simple little splash of color on a cute image, I think that worked great. And I really do think this is kind of a cool way to apply it. So I will definitely be playing more with my colored pencils. I'm definitely going to do more with this cute set because I do like the opportunity to color and practice, although I might also do some more with Copic coloring. I hope you enjoyed this craft haul video, and I will definitely be giving feedback on how the products that I bought, like the heat embossing tool and the colored pencils, and what I think of them in coming videos. You can find links to all the products I used today in the YouTube description box. Would love to have you become a subscriber to my channel, and I'll see you back here with another card project soon. To see a few other simple cards using coloring, check out the thumbnails I have linked for you below, and I will see you in those videos.